Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Welcome to the community live stream. My name is Chuck Tomasi. I am here with you once again. Boy, it feels like a long time since I've been here talking to you. The community live stream is the show that brings you not only the questions and answers behind the ServiceNow community, but the thought process, the journey of discovery that goes on to get you to those answers so that you can take those tips and techniques to your job and be a more effective ServiceNow administrator and developer. As I said, my name is Chuck Tomasi. I've been with ServiceNow for coming up on 9 years. In about a week and a half, it's going to be 9 years. Wow, that went fast. I was a customer for a couple of years before that, so I know what you need to know because I needed to know it once upon a time as well. So thank you for joining me. If you are watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel, click on the notifications, and you will get notifications that look a lot like that, where you get it on Twitch. We do this on Twitch. We do this on the ServiceNow channel. Good morning, Leocott. Good to see you, and hope to see you get those notifications as well. We also do this on Twitch, as I noticed on the screen as well. Weekdays, 1 p.m. UTC. That is, sorry, I'm just sort of getting my feel on the the keyboards again because it's been so long. It seems that just had to make sure everything is working right, make sure the audio is going out. Yes, I did remember to unmute. I have done that in the past, especially when there's been extended times when I haven't been at the keyboard for a while. The routine sort of slips. After a while, the fingers sort of drive themselves. But fortunately, after a couple, it's been almost 2 years that we've been doing this. Wow, live stream goes on fast. More Jason, good to see you as well. I had a wonderful time at Knowledge. Let's keep going with the pre-roll. I'll get to that in just a second. So Twitch, don't forget, if you've got more than just a hello, how are you, how's the weather, go over to the community at community.servicenow.com. It looks a lot like that. That's behind me, where you can post your questions. I've been getting questions in LinkedIn. I've been getting questions via personal email. I've been getting questions via work email. And I always try to steer people towards the community because that's really where everyone will benefit. If you've got a question, ask it in the community. That way it's there as a recorded record. It's not an email just between you and me. Other people can benefit from that as well. And you benefit from getting a wider audience than just me. I don't know everything about ServiceNow. I've never claimed to know everything about ServiceNow. I know a lot about the platform, custom applications, and integrations, and that's where I generally spend my time. I do know a few things about a few other things. That didn't quite sound right, but we'll continue on about ITOM and maybe performance analytics, and I'll try to get into those. But the platform, the development, the building part is really where I specialize. And if you've got questions outside of that, I often can't help. People ask me all kinds of questions about reporting and analytics. And the best place to ask this, my most common answer when it's not on the community is please post that in the community so that you and other people can benefit more from that. Good morning, Paulo. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Getting a nice morning crew here. See if some of the regulars that have been with me since the beginning of time, well, late 2017, the beginning of time for this particular series, decide to show up. If you are new to the community, I've been mentioning that. If you're new to the community, some guidelines there that you can read. I'm not going to read them all to yourself, but things like posting one question per post and put it in the right sub-community. If you've got a developer question, then obviously it goes in the developer section. If you've got a question on performance analytics, then check out reporting and performance analytics. That's where you're going to get the people who know the most, because not everybody sees everything on the community. They often subscribe to just particular spaces and say, hey, I'm pretty good at discovery and service mapping, so they go after things in the ITOM section. So they'll subscribe and they'll get alerts. That way when you post, they get alerts and they can help you out. So by placing it in the right sub-community, you get the most effective use of your time. And only post it once, please, because if you put something in reporting and analytics, then a developer, then in platform, then in, I don't know which one to answer, and neither do others. And you may think you're covering your bases better, but that's not always the case. You're actually making it harder for other people to answer and harder for other people to recognize which one is the right answer. And when you come back and mark one as the right answer, somebody says, hey, I got this thing 3 times. why is one correct and the other two are not? So avoid confusion, keep it simple, ask once. If it doesn't get asked, well, then you may post another one somewhere else and reference that one. Say, hey, I asked this question over in performance analytics and reporting. Maybe it wasn't the right place. Put a link in there and you can, now you're self-referencing. Makes it easier, but don't do that right away. Just one at a time. We only have so much bandwidth. If you've been around the community for a while, consider recognizing some of those patterns, turning some of that content into repurposable videos, blogs, that sort of thing. There's been a number of people who have made a wonderful name, a brand for themselves by going and posting. I was on the airplane in San Francisco heading back to Phoenix yesterday, and Stephen Bell started doing a Ask the Expert session on the community, and I was watching that with intent. I learned a couple of good things about scripting best practices and bad practices, so now I have that information in my toolbox. So subscribe to this channel. You get not only more video from me, but you also get video from other experts and other sessions. May not all apply to you in your current position, but it's good to know that it's there. So that is the ServiceNow Community Program. Let's continue on. If you've got any questions about that, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'd be happy to help. After the experts comes the developer area. So in developer.servicenow.com, you can find yourself a free personal developer instance, which is good for a limited time. You got to keep using it. You got to keep doing development on it. As I found out, I just went on vacation for about 2 weeks, came back, my instance was gone. So that's going to happen. If you don't use it, they get reclaimed because they are free. We only have a limited number of resources for these. So it is what it is. However, I just found out there's a new feature that you can periodically do a backup on your personal developer instance. So if it does get reclaimed, had I known this before I went on vacation, I would have done a backup to my personal developer instance so that when I come back and get a new one, I can restore from that old image. Now, my personal developer instance is pretty much a sandbox. I use it mainly for this show and testing odd, weird stuff. And when it does get blown away, I really don't care because my work is backed up with GitHub. I have all the applications that I've built on ServiceNow on my personal developer instance using source control via GitHub so that A, I can share that with you, and B, if I do lose it, I can get what I need. My real critical stuff is not on this instance, nor should it be. These are meant for testing, proof of concept. Get your free personal developer instance. Madrid, London, and Kingston are the current versions available as of this date. This show is for May 24th, 2019. I should have announced that at the top of the show. You can also get all of the scripting APIs available to you. You can get, what else do we have? Free learning plans. So if you're not learning, they're scrolling up behind me. I should just look at the screen. Developer meetups, blog content. If you're interested in meetups, you can find that under events. And upcoming meetups include ServiceNow Las Vegas Developer Meetup on May 30th. That's in a couple of days. Next week, if I'm not mistaken. Copenhagen, June 5th. Indianapolis, June 6th. Orlando, June 11th. These are in chronological order, thank goodness. Stockholm, June 12th. I will not be able to make all of these, but usually in Q3, Q4, they let me out of this cage and I start to get around to more of the developer meetups as part of other meetings and sessions that we've got, which I will cover in just a minute. You can also find all the information and sign up and join these things over at meetup.com/pro/ServiceNow program, where we've got nearly 16,000 like-minded people interested in ServiceNow development. Look for a chapter nearby you. There are 50 of them around the globe. If you're interested in starting one, please reach out to us. We can help you with that as well. So you say, hey, there's nothing in, well, there is one in Phoenix, Arizona. There's nothing in Gainesville, Florida, let's say, and you've got some customers in your area that you'd like to get together and discuss ServiceNow development. Reach out to us. We can help you do that. We're not going to run it for you. You pick the venue. You pick the topics. We'll help you with content. We'll help you with organization. We'll give you a centralized place on meetup.com to announce those and organize those. But it really is, ServiceNow wants to take a step back from telling you what to do when it comes to developer content, but help you to be able to run those effectively. We've got a lot of great organizers at the other chapters that are willing to help as well. There's a regular developer get-together, conference call quarterly that everybody meets on. So don't want to dwell on that too long. If you're interested, Great stuff. Go over to meetup.com and sign up for that as ASAP. I believe we've got a Phoenix developer meetup coming up in June. I need to check with Mike Stockman, our organizer, on that because I do have some travel coming up that may interfere with that. All right, after the developer meetup, we have other events. Get rid of that subtitle. Over at events.servicenow.com, you can find out ServiceNow user group meetings. We've got the Now at Work sessions coming up in Q3 and Q4 around the globe. Look for those. Those were previously called Now Forum and Now Summit. So if you're interested in attending those are like mini knowledges. We will have a little expo floor. We're going to have a little bit of a hack zone. I suspect that a lot of the, some of the hack zone exhibits from CreatorCon, for example, the laser engraving robot that Josh Bray did. He had carpenter's pencils that said ServiceNow on one side, and then he would laser engrave your name onto the other side, right as you wait. Pretty cool. You order it up through ServiceNow catalog, you put in catalog item, you put in your name, it sends it through a mid-server. Lots of cool stuff. And of course, the Now at Work sessions are going to have lots of good information about ServiceNow features, functionality, applications, best practices, that sort of thing. Speaking of best practices, before I disappear on that one, I want to go back to this screen and let you know that there are only 345 days left till Knowledge 20. That's me and Lindsay the Pinata. If you were at Knowledge, you know that we had a llama theme going at CreatorCon, so I called this a Mexican llama. It's a pinata. Unfortunately, Lindsay did not make it on stage, didn't make it. She disappeared. I don't know what happened. She was hanging around the health club and disappeared. So it's not too late. Hey, what happened to my screen? Let's do a retry, see if we can get reconnected to that. It's not too early. Anyway, I'm done with that screen. It's not too early to start thinking about Knowledge 20 because this is the time when you want to put in your boss's ear, hey, let's set aside some budget for that. This is the time when they need to start thinking about their 2020 budget. Yes, the managers, directors, executives think way ahead, and we want to make sure that you are at Knowledge 20 in Orlando, Florida. Similar dates, that first week of May, I believe it's May 4th through 8th, 3rd through 8th. I got to double check the dates. I have that written down somewhere, and I'm working on getting a new title screen for that. So would love to see you at Knowledge. Don't think, well, that's last year's, so we won't do that. That won't work. Also, I do have a Tech Now workshop that's coming up. I'll work on a title screen for that. June 25th is going to be about the email client. I'm working on the content with Stacy and Craig on that right now, so love to see you there. It's Tech Now Tuesday on June 25th. Set that aside, 8 a.m. Pacific time, whatever time that is for your time zone. Look for the email blast, the invites, the social media stuff coming out on that shortly. And I will have the short link registration for you here in just a little bit. Haven't set that up yet. Waiting for a screenshot that I can get that hooked up with. So Tech Now Tuesday is coming up. If I do have any code that I write, because periodically in this show, wrong keyboard, try that again. If I have any script that I write for you today, I will store that away in GitHub at that bit.ly link you see on the bottom. And you can find that in a dated folder. I also post this video and the show notes back to the community and YouTube so you can reference them that way. And those links on YouTube and the community will go right to that dated folder. So you don't have to remember this nasty, ugly thing. Just go find it, click it, and away we go. All right, that takes care of it for the pre-roll. Good morning, Carolyn. Didn't see you hiding there for a sec. Let's get into it. This is a random show of content. I am going to make sure that I've got the right screen up here. There we are. And refresh this. I'm going to begin with, I don't have anything to follow up on because I've been gone so long. I actually apologize if you'd sent me a message in my inbox on the community or elsewhere because I don't have time to go back. It's been almost a month since I did one of these shows. It's crazy. It was the end of April. And I apologize that I don't have time to go back and clean that up or take a look and answer every single one of those. I am playing Mad Crazy Catch Up today. I'm officially working today. Don't know if the the jet lag is going to hit in the middle of this. I think it just did. GitHub source control pulling sys IDs for reference fields. Looks like we got one correct on that, but I'm not going to get into that too much. Refresh the screen, and I am going to go to the... Where am I? I'm on my profile or something. That was weird. Let's refresh this screen. Go to Community, Home. Where is my picker? Did we change something here while I was gone? Let's go right to... I apologize about this clumsiness. This is an awkward way to start. But there may be new features. There should be a filter in here that lets me look at just the new ones. Where is my new stuff? This has changed. We might have had a software upgrade while I was gone. This still looks like my profile. Something is odd here. Let's go to... I'm on the community home. Am I missing something? Anybody want to offer up something for me? Browse community forums. I'll tell you what, I'm going to dive into the developer community since that's where I hang out most of the time anyway. And I still don't see the filter on the top. Did it disappear? Did I miss an update somewhere? Content feed, there we are, unreplied. We've got featured content at the top. I knew that was a feature that was coming up. So, attach an Excel file to email notification template. Let's take a look. I don't know exactly what they're looking at, but it never hurts what they're asking for. Is there any way to attach an Excel file to email notification template? Any pointers? I don't know. I'm interested. Let's find out. If you can, let's begin by going to docs.servicenow.com, which is one of these screens around here. Let's look at here and go to mail template. Mail script API, converting an email template to rich HTML, template printer, email templates. There it is. Email templates enable administrators to create reusable content for the subject line and message body of notifications. Let's see if there's any message, anything in here about attachments. No. Okay. You would more than likely have to do that with a script. Email, let's see, template, attachment. Add an attachment to a project template. Ooh, that's interesting. Useful attachment scripts. Let's find out what's in useful attachment scripts. We've got glidesys attachment .copy, which takes a file from an attachment. You could potentially do this if you knew the name. There isn't a way out of the box. Let's get that back to 150% so you can read it. There isn't a way to do this out of the box. Hey, the fingers still work. You might be able to attach a file to your systemplate record and then use a mail script to copy it where needed. Let's put this in a little code block using that icon. Still wish this would default to JavaScript. And put in, the way you do this is with $curly brace mail script : copy my template would be the name of the template, or the mail script, excuse me. Let's get that down here where copy my template. Wow, okay, fingers aren't working quite as much as I'd hoped today. Can I say it's not my keyboard? No, this is definitely my keyboard. Where copy my template, that should be a quote, is the name of your mail script. Oh, please, come on, fingers, work. Mail script. It will need to use glidesys attachment .copy to copy the file from the template to the email record. sys email. That I had up here in the documentation. Let's copy that. Create link, HTML, back here. and put in the docs link. Hooray! Oh, it's been a long time since we heard that noise, isn't it? Okay, so there is a response. That's how it goes. I pick them at random. If it looks like it's something I can contribute to, I'll open it up. Change table from incident to request for maintain items using SOAP. Change table from incident, maintain items. What are they looking to do? Currently, we have a functionality. Oh, don't forget to please put the business problem. What is the business requirement that's driving these? If we just ask for technical issue, you're going to get a technical answer, and it might not be the right thing that you want to use. So when you're posting, put that in there, is put in the business requirement. Just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should do a thing. Hi, currently we have functionality which is resetting the password for ABC team by using a catalog item on the portal whenever receives an automated email. The SOAP and the inbound action is creating a ticket inside ticket incident table. Now, as per new requirement, we need to change the ticket incident table to request table. Please suggest where I should start. I would start with since this is coming in via an inbound email, I would start by changing the target table on the inbound email action to the SC request item table, not SC request. Think of SC request as a cart. The items for that cart go in SC rec item. SC, see if I can spell it. There. Turn that one down. Getting the following error when trying to restore my developer instance. There are no instances available for the matching release. Please try again later. Okay, what release are we trying? That should actually go in instance help. Again, make sure you use the right community forum. Is there any current issue? You could try again later instance. They want a Madrid instance. I just got a Madrid instance. That was 15 hours ago, a few minutes ago. Try again. I just got a Madrid instance about an hour ago, long after you saw this message. Option 2. Option 1 is try again. If we have an option 2, we should logically have an option 1. Or if you're a programmer, it should be option 0 and option 1, right? Option 2, get a Kingston or London instance and do the upgrade. That's another way. FYI, if you are having problems with your personal developer instance, please be sure to post in the instance help subforum so the right people see it. This was posted to the developer community. All right. Thanks. Want to be polite on the community. Always be respectful, always be polite. Get that one. Hey, we're 3 for 3 this morning. Context search widget, issue with mobile application, how to automate discovery in CMDB CI using script. Let's take a look at the mobile application first. Don't know where exactly we're going. Apologize if you can hear a loud cat in the background. He likes to talk, and he's obviously asking for some more food. Currently, I'm trying to create an employee directory, but from the HR profile table. Whether I use the list or employee directory applet of the mobile studio, any fields from the HR profile table are not displayed. Okay, so they're using the Madrid mobile designer studio thing that came out in Madrid, and they've added these fields to there, and it says employees on board Maria Davies. This is what I have in Studio, where the name and title are derived from the user table and the employment start date and pre-work are derived from the HR profile table. Okay, when we look at the mobile app through the fields are not displayed, can anyone help me with this? Is it an ACL issue? ACL issue. just because you put it on the designer, just because you put it, I should define what it, a field on the designer doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be displayed to all users every time. Have you tested the mobile app with different roles/personas? E.g., someone with no role, someone with ITIL, someone with HR, someone with admin. That may help narrow down where the issue lies. It may. So whenever you run into issues like this and say, hey, I put this on the form, why doesn't it show up? Check the ACLs. That's the first place to go to see, does the system allow this person to actually see what it is you're showing? It could be that the field is encrypted and they don't have access to the encryption context. It could be a number of things. So be sure to check those. All right. The cat is now tearing up the carpet, trying to crawl under the door. It's a wonderful day. I'm going to refresh this because I've been on that page for a little bit of time. Let's see what else we have that's new in here. Let's go back to unreplied. Ooh, I saw something that caught my eye. I'm going to go back to all. Issues with a fixed script. 11 replies. If it's still open, I'm curious to see where we're going with this. Does anyone know how to convert this business rule into a fixed script? Okay. Pradeep responded yesterday afternoon. Could you give more information on what the purpose of this to convert it to a fixed script? Do you want to update all the records? If yes, please let us know. Let's show all the replies. I want to see where this thread is going. So a business rule, if you're not aware, a business rule runs typically on a database operation. When the record is read, when the record is updated, when the record is created, or when the record is deleted. It is a database trigger. And why it's called business rule and not database trigger, I don't know. You'll have to go back to the old days when the platform was still being built in 2004, why they chose that name. Regardless of that, that's what a business rule does. A fixed script is typically run when an app is installed, or you want to run it once, or it's also very good for, again, something you want to run once. Maybe you need some data transformed or updated. I've built let's say, for example, you built a table, and instead of a date field, you used a string field. And now you want to make it a date field. So you created a second date field. You need to take all the old legacy values from string to date. And you wrote a fixed script. So you wrote this script, you tested it in dev, everything works great. You put it in a fixed script, it will get updated with your application. It will get sent along. And now somebody can say, as part of the installation instructions on test or prod, load the update set, publish the app, whatever it is, install the app, get the bits, the tables updated, get the scripts updated, and that fixed script comes along too. So when you're done applying the update set or you're done installing the application from the app repo, you can then go and run this fixed script instead of saying, hey, go over here, copy this JS into scripts background. Scripts background doesn't have any system of record to say, yeah, it ran or it didn't, or this many records were updated, but fixed scripts are a more persistent way of publishing those changes and making sure that the person didn't muck with what you intended them to run. Here's your script, run it. Easy as that. So Pradeep says, why do you want to do this? I love that question. Always understand why. Yes, I'd like to update all the existing records in ALM set. The only part of the script that would need to be updated the following is, this is because the fixed script doesn't have access to the specific record to get the company model category values. They're going pretty deep in here. And one thing I would suggest is when you have logic like this, if it's in a business rule, we don't need a current.update in there because current isn't known to fixed scripts. That's the other thing. Current is available to UI actions that are run on the server side. It's available to business rules because you're dealing with the current record that you're on. So when I update this or read this record or insert a new record, current is an object. It's a glide record object that you've got available to you. The other thing to make sure of is, let's keep going through here. is you don't have current, so you can't just copy this in there. They have cur equals, what did they assign to cur? Cur is your table, your query. That doesn't seem very helpful. Okay. If they want to update all of the records, that's a good way to do it. Is what they did is they replaced current, which isn't known in fixed scripts. So you go and do your own lookup, and you're saying, hey, for all the records that you find, whatever it is, active is true, install status is active, you make up a query that says, these are the records I want to update. You may not necessarily need all records. If you do need all records, then you just do a glide record query, a glide record declaration and a query. You don't need to do an add query or an add encoded query, whatever it happens to be, to filter that list down. Just get all the records. So they're going through each record. This script worked as a business rule, but isn't working in the fixed script. When I ran this, I saw performing add seconds with invalid glide date time. Interesting. So where did they add seconds? They had add seconds down here. Warranty 2 is a numeric value. You can't do warranty is the numeric value. Warranty 2 is divided by 1,000. So yeah, you got a numeric value. That's going to be an issue. Don't use current in fixed scripts. That's a little obvious. You need to do the following steps. Okay. Are they still running into problems? Performing add seconds of glide date time. MD Joseph 12 still says this. So then Vignesh says, try this. You're getting this. They're getting the manufacturer. They get down here to get the date numeric value. Add seconds. Right here, warranty date is a new glide date time. There we go. So they're getting the numeric value out of here, turning it into an integer of seconds, and then adding seconds to that. I don't know why you wouldn't just take, if you warranty date period is a glide date time, why not just add the seconds onto that? Forming add seconds, that's not a response to that one. Is that the most recent response? This is about an hour ago from Vignesh. This is about an hour ago, unfortunately resulting in the same error. Warranty date is new glide date time. Okay, I want to know what is, I'm going to stick with this thread. I want to know what is U_ warranty, what was it? I can't remember. It was one of their own fields. U warranty period. Okay, because they're getting a date numeric value from that. What is date numeric value? I know there's a get numeric value. Is that even a thing? Date numeric value. Okay. This script converts the value from milliseconds to days. Let's go to developer.servicenow.com where all of the scripting APIs live and see what that says and what family that belongs to. I gotta remember what. It's what happens when you don't use your instance for a while. They log out on you. So while the browser refreshes, I will take a drink, go to this little magnifying glass up here in the corner of developer.servicenow.com. Date numeric value. I could just be very forgetful, and I'm thinking of get numeric value, but it may be date numeric value. It is, let's look under scoped equivalent. And date numeric value returns the number of milliseconds since January 70. Okay, that makes sense. And what does it return it on? What do you pass it? For a duration field. Okay, does not require the creation of a glide date time object because the duration field is already a glide date time object. I didn't know that there was a correlation that closely between glide date time and glide duration. Interesting. Okay, so if it's already a glide date time object, then we should be able to, let's do a search this way. Glide date time. We should be able to do an add seconds already. I don't understand why we need to convert and then So here's the API with glide date time. Really getting into the weeds on this one. And add number, add milliseconds, add days, add seconds. There it is. Okay. So back here, if U-warranty period is a duration, then you should be able to do add seconds to it. Want to test that? Let's test that. Log into my instance because I sat around for too long. Let's try this. I need a duration field. Somewhere in the incident table, there's a duration field. It's time to write some script. Let's do that. Var inc equals new glide record incident. Let's go get an incident. Inc.get number is going to be, I need something with a duration in it. Anybody know what the duration is off time? Is it time worked? Never mind. Let's just go and configure table. We'll find out. So I need a record with a duration field. I just want to know if add seconds actually works with a duration field. That's what I want to know before I post this answer back to them. So in the columns, let's look for type. Click the magnifying glass. Equals duration. And we have business duration and duration. Very good. So let's go back to the list of incidents, see if anything has a duration field. Let's personalize the list. Pull up the duration field, something that's not empty. Add that to my little personalized list here and filter out the empty ones. So incident 000904 works for me. It's currently 5 minutes. Let's go back here. 009004. Let's get that record. Just for grins, we'll say gs.info duration equals inc.get. Let's do inc.duration.get display value. That should display it in human readable form. Test that real quick in scripts background. Bring that up in a new tab so I don't have to keep going back and forth. Run that and I get undefined. Okay. Anybody spot an error? Duration. Apparently I didn't spell duration right. Oh, he's answering what duration, the field that has a duration is called duration. Int.duration. Let's take this off of here and just see what it says. Try that in scripts background. There. Paste that, and we still get undefined. Inc.duration, maybe inc didn't get retrieved. Let's do inc.number just to make sure that I actually did get the record and didn't get a big nothing. Could be that I typed in my duration wrong. Okay, so the number is fine. Just to verify, short description. Short description is in here, defect tracker tool is down. And why don't I have a value for duration? Is that not the name of the field? It may not be the name of the field. I may have made a hasty assumption in that when I went to, where is it? Configure, table. The field is displayed as duration, but it may actually be called something else. Calendar duration. Once again, fields and labels not matching can bite you in the backside. So let's go back to scripts background, change this to calendar duration dot get display value. Try this in scripts background again. I know, I had it right there. Why didn't you just paste it? 5 minutes. That's the display value. Now to test our theory, let's do inc dot calendar duration dot add seconds 60. And then we will display this again. Copy, copy, paste, paste, copy, copy, paste, paste, and it did not update. We didn't get an error. Is add seconds. The add seconds is glide date time. So even though it says it's not a, that doesn't align with what the documents just told us though. It said you don't need to convert it to a glide date time because it's already a type of glide date time. Is that not what I read back here? That was our search results. This is our returns the number of milliseconds for a duration field, does not require the creation of a glide date time because the duration field is already a glide date time object. If it's a glide date time object, then why can't I use glide date time methods? And why didn't I get an error if I couldn't use that glide date time? Make you wonder? Makes me wonder. So they're saying date numeric value is 98, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. I was hoping there was a shortcut way to do this, but it appears that there isn't. This is why we test, kids. So this is 5 minutes, and then does it return anything? Did I miss something on add seconds? Glide date, add seconds. Add seconds is part of glide date time. Number of seconds to add. To use add seconds, all right, let's try their simple here, just as an example. Run wrong window. Oops. Now I close that window. Get that. And it says 8:16:40. If I go back here, I added 1,000 seconds. Let's add just 60 seconds to make sure that it's easily enough. And I should get 8:01. Good. But it says a glide duration is already... See, that statement throws me off. That's what bothers me. And I just closed it. Developer.servicenow.com. I got to look into that. I'm going to send an email to the API team right away. As soon as the cameras are off, we're going to go to glide duration and API constructor. We were looking at get date value. Get duration value is something different. Gets the duration's name in D, hours, minutes, seconds, get rounded. Where was that? It was date numeric value. That's what it was. Date numeric value. Why doesn't it show up here then? Where did it show up? Date numeric value. You got to spell right if you're going to find what you're looking for. Glide element, glide record. Glide record. So if you can get the date numeric value, why wouldn't you use set? Okay, changing the page a little bit. Get that sysid, get the calendar duration. Shouldn't that be on a glide element, not on a glide record? What is this? Oh, there is a glide element. No, glide element set date numeric value. Okay, let's change gears a little bit. If I've got a get, then I'm going to use the set. So instead of doing add seconds, let's do what they were trying to do. Let's get the var val1 equals inc.calendar duration dot date numeric value. Okay, that should give us the milliseconds. Let's print that out. Val1. And just see how that goes. Copy, copy. Paste, paste. 3000. And if I go back here and do a ink.calendarDuration. What was the method? I just saw it. Not there, not there. Set date numeric value in milliseconds. Let's add 60,000 to that because it's milliseconds. And it's, oh, it's set. So it's going to be val1 plus. And it's set, I can't remember what the number is. My brain is not retaining things very well today. That's something that I wanted to show you later. Set date numeric value. Set date numeric value. Now, let's print that out. I'm just going to use the same method to display it rather than get the next value. Go back here. Let's use a setter method. Look at that. It was 5 minutes. Now it's 6 minutes. Okay, so rather than converting it to number, dividing by 1,000, adding seconds to a glide date field, let's just use that method instead. That's kind of what I was looking for, but why I was on glide record, I don't know. Set date numeric value. Let's respond to that. Somebody probably beat me to this anyway. Nope. Okay. Rather than get the numeric value, convert it, divide by 1,000, divide by 1,000, then create a glide date time object so you can add seconds. So you can add seconds. Just try using the set date numeric value method instead. And because I had that on the screen somewhere, once upon a time, there it is, set date numeric value seconds. Let's put a link to that in the doc. That's always nice. Paste, target, new, done. Example code here. Put it in a code snippet box. I'm finding the right screen thingy. Make that smaller so I can hit the OK button. For your code, this would be, okay, let's take their code apart. We've got, take the latest revision and new screen. What do we got? Your table name, which I think they said was ALM asset. Your condition, manufacturer is first query company sysid, model category is model category value, get value sysid. You know what? If you've got a reference field, you don't need a get value sysid. That is completely redundant. It's telling the system, go get the entire record so you can get the sysid. Well, you've already got the sysid. Okay, so just leave it like this. Company, excuse me. Get value company. Company is a sysid. You don't need to do a get value sysid on something that is already a sysid. That is very redundant. Okay, so this would be get value model category. A little tip for you on performance. Then get rid of that part. All right, making it a little cleaner, a little nicer. Warranty, warranty 2, glide record, you manufacturer warranty. Go get the manufacturer based on manufacturer and the model category that you pulled out before. And when you get that, they want the date numeric value. Well, what do they want to add to it? Add seconds warranty 2. That's the current value of that. So they're adding to current install date. What are we doing with that? Warranty date goes into warranty expiration. Oh, they're putting it into a date. Now I understand why they need a glide date time, because they're taking a duration of like 5 years and adding that to an existing date. And this is where they're getting a problem, is add seconds is not available to that. Well, we learned something, even though we were on the wrong track for what the requirement was. But they're still saying add seconds is not available to what? Add seconds with invalid glide date time. No thrown error. Couldn't decipher the stack trace resulting from this. Null pointer exception. Well, let's make sure that these values are actually valid. Is there something else we might have missed besides a lot of spacing to make this readable? Clean that up. Clean that up. I know I'm just housekeeping now. We got about 10 minutes, so I'm wondering if I can get this, add any value to this. Don't crunch everything together. You don't need to. There you go. Warranty date. Okay. Does it work from scripts background? Let's take this out. Does this work from scripts background? I'm still going to post that script to the, not this one, because I didn't do anything really to it, but I'm going to post the other one to GitHub so you can review that if you want to learn more about durations and whatnot. So let's not save that one. Make sure that works. There's my first question. Where have you tested this? There is one thing that I want to check for. I need space on line 5. Thanks, James. One thing that I wanted to mention that I had learned while I was doing some development for the TechNow application, and that is using a complex payload in an event. So I had, when we have our TechNow webinars and you post a question that we can't answer, we take those and import those into ServiceNow after the webinar so that we can answer them and then send you an email back that says, hey, you asked these 3 questions. Here's a link to those questions in the community where we answered them. So you get an email that says, yeah, we answered them, and here's the links to those. And then you can carry on the discussion, if you like, in the community. To get your 3 questions into one email required a query to collect which questions are yours. So I'm going to show you where this is built. In the email notification, I have hello, name from payload. I'm sending in a very complex JSON object or stringified JSON object as one of the event parameters so that I can take it apart and use it in these various mail scripts because I want to send you one email. If I didn't have that in there, the issue is that I'm sending this from an attendees table. All I know in the attendees table is first name, last name, and email. What webinar you attended, and the date, and some other minor stuff. It's not part of sysuser. And because it's not part of sysuser, I can't use the field. So if I said use the attendee field from this table, and look, there isn't even an attendee field in there because I'm on the event table, if I remember right. I'm on the episode. So I don't know. The attendees are a related list. So I'm going through all the questions and answers. Originally, I had this as part of the attendee table, but short answer to that is if your table does not use sysuser or extend sysuser, as the case of customer service management does for the customer contact table, that's an extension of sysuser, then you can't use the users and groups in fields. So how do you get the person's first name, last name, other attributes into the message? Well, that's where it gets fun because you need to say who it will receive comes from one of the parameters. Okay, I have this as parm1. So it says, Who's going to receive it? Chuck.Tomasi@servicenow.com is going to receive it. Great. That way I know this person will get the email, or Craig.Stepp, or Stacy.Bailey, or whomever. Now, what it will contain is also part of that payload. And the payload has some interesting stuff in it. So first I use the name out of the payload. Well, what is name from payload? Let's go look at notification email scripts and get that. Name from payload. It simply says, go parse whatever's in event parm 2, because it's going to have some stuff in there. The email address, the name, the list of questions, the links to those questions, lots of stuff is in that parameter. And I want attendee.name. So since I created this object, I know what's in there and I know how to dot walk it. So all I'm doing is saying, hello, Chuck.Tomasi, and it gets that where? Well, it gets that from a script include, which is in here. Let's get the in there. When the email is generated, when the event is generated, let's work this backwards. I know this email is generated. So question posted, when to send, event is fired, TechNow question posted. Where is that event triggered? Let's go under, I can't find it in there, but let's look under event registry. Under event registry is, take that out. That was under performance analytics. Contains TechNow. There should only be one or two of these in here. Question posted. And there are a couple of related links in here that are very helpful. Business rules and notifications. So is it triggered in any business rules? No. All right. Interesting. Where is it? Let's go back to Studio and do a search for GS Event Queue. Search. And I find that I have a business rule that triggers. It's fired from the question util script include, which is what I was just looking at here. On line 153, I see, here's where I build all my object. Let me minimize this so you can see that and maximize this so we can see that a little bit better. So this says, it's time to send the question emails. Who do we need to send them to and what do we need to send them about? So go to the question table, get the count of attendees, and I want to break that down by attendee. So if I ask 3 questions, I know I'm going to have one email with 3 questions in it. Then I go to the attendee table, get that attendee ID, and start building this object. This is the object that's going to be stringified and passed as the payload to the event question posted. This is what really fires the email. It says, here's an email, here's an event. And the email goes, hey, I'm listening for that event, question posted. Therefore, I know that the person's email is in the first parameter. Why? Because I told it to. When I looked over here to the notification question posted, event parm1 contains the recipient. That's going to say chuck.tomasi@servicenow.com is going to receive this email message. The second parameter is the complex bit. And that's where I get a couple of things. I set up an attendee object. I say, here's their sysid. That's the sysid of the person from that attendee table. So if I ever need to go back and get that record or anything else from that record, I have a sysid. I've got their email and I've got their name. Okay, and I just concatenate first and last name. I don't use anything. I don't have a name field. At least I don't think I have a name field on there. I should, but I don't. Then I get a list of all of the questions they asked for that episode. So I pass the attendee ID and the episode ID. I've got multiple records in here that says Chuck may have only asked one question. Therefore, this could come back with an array of one object. If I've got 7 questions, it's an array of 7 objects. Then I generate the email content, the HTML content, based off of that. So go and get that particular HTML and stringify it. So my object now has the HTML content for all the questions for that person. And I use that in the notification like this. What it will contain, we already saw. Go pull out the name from that object. So, hey, cool. I don't need to go and get something else. I don't have it because it's not the sys user table. If it was, I could just put in your hello name. You've done that before with email. The episode number and title come from the episode record, so I've got those easily available to me as one of these fields because that's where this notification is being generated. Now, this mail script says post the question list here. This is the name of that mail script, question list. And if I go back to mail scripts, I had it open a little while ago. Email script, no, there it is. An email script is very useful. You can run these inside of an email to create dynamic content. I'm just pulling information out of that event, but you could use it to look up other records and get information based on those records. What it knows about is the script that was, the current object, which is that episode record, because that's the record where the notification was running. I don't need too much out of that, so I generally don't use it. If there was a template used, data about that template, if there was any email action or email, but the event is really what I'm after. I want that data from within event.parm1 or 2, So I parse that apart and just grab that HTML out of there. I already did the hard work. If I was really insane, I could have looped through the array in here. Now, whenever you use template.print, that is the method to output something into the message body. So whatever was in obj.html, I did this back in my script include. Remember, I had this part, generate the email HTML. I've already got my list of questions and answers and links to them, where they're going to be in that community post. So when you click the email link in your email, it takes you directly to that. I have to know where that is. Well, that came from the URL for the community. I prefix that on. Putting this in the script include, putting a lot of this stuff in script include functions makes it very easy to test this at an atomic level. Does this function take a list of objects and output HTML? Is the value of this the HTML that I want? If I decide to change the HTML from maybe a bulleted list of links to a table, I can easily do that by changing this function and not the email template, not the email script, leave the email part as the part that just does the sending. Leave the logic part that does the lookups, the formatting, whatever else in the script include. That way you can compartmentalize, you can break these down and test them that way. So this was just one example of a complex payload. You can pass some pretty decent stuff in these event parameters. It's not always empty string, or gs.getUserID and today's date. That's nice for debugging if you want to go through the log. But you can pass complex information and pass those to the email notifications so that mail scripts can get a hold of those. Keep in mind that you don't trigger notifications from Flow Designer. They don't have access to this. Notifications triggered from Flow Designer are all contained within the Flow email record, that action. When you pipe things in there, you don't have access to $curly brace anything, because the idea of Flow Designer is it's no code. So why are you putting all these crazy meta strings in there? So I needed to use the event because I was getting data from a record that was not the table that I wanted, that has The data is in a related list of records. Starting at the episode, saying, hey, we're on Tech Now episode 62. Who asked questions about Tech Now episode 62? Group those together by person, and then we can go from there. What did they say? How did they say it? Send one message. That way you don't get 7 email. Here's a link to the question you asked in episode 62. Here's another link you asked to another question. Nobody wants 7 email when one will suffice. So that was the goal, and that's how I accomplished it, using the complex payload in the event queue parameter. So that is going to take care of it for today. I know I ran a little long, but hey, been gone a while. I look forward to talking to you again. It is Friday, possibly Monday. No, Monday's a holiday for ServiceNow, so probably not going to happen then. Maybe Tuesday. I have to check my travel schedule. Not Wednesday, not Thursday, because I will be doing a workshop and then traveling home. So worst case is I'll see you again in 1 week. It's been fun. I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little while. Hope you found something useful, entertaining, maybe mildly educational. Go ahead and click that helpful link. Click the like link on the YouTube video so that other people know that something useful is in here. If you're on the community, click the helpful link so that other people know that as well there. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you again real soon. Bye.